What happens after you see your careers advisor? In this video, we're going to talk about the next steps. Let's go. So you've been to see your careers advisor, you might have had a 30 to 60 minute appointment with them. During the meeting, the careers advisor would have asked you questions centered around your career and your career plans for the future. Some of you might have had a clear idea of what you want to do, and there'll be the vast majority of you who don't know what you want to do. This is perfectly normal. During the meeting, the careers advisor would have made some notes of the discussion that you had, and this generates an action plan. You'll get a copy of the action plan, and depending on your school and college, they'll get a copy too, and they might even send it home to your parents. The action plan summarises the conversation that you had, and it will detail the next steps that you might like to take. Let's say you told your careers advisor that you had a particular career in mind. So let's use civil engineer as an example. During the interview, the careers advisor is double checking that you understand your why and what is motivating you to make this decision. Now, it's really important to be motivated for the right reasons. I'll give you an example. Some people get into their 30s realising that the career that they are doing was that of their family expectations. Now, family play an important part in your life, but it is really important that when you choose your career, you are aware of how you are making and arriving at that decision. Now, follow in the footsteps of your family and their expectations if that's what's important to you. But don't sell out on your real passion, because it will eat away at you for a lifetime. So when careers advisors are probing away at asking you what's influencing you and how you're motivated, we're trying to bring your awareness of those motivations and motivators, which this is a really important aspect of personal growth all round, across all areas of our life, understanding how the environment affects us. Now, during the meeting, the careers advisor would have assessed what you understand about careers, generally and specifically, and the routes that you can take to particular careers. They'll typically do this by asking you, what do you understand about the pathway or routes into a particular career, normally the one that you've referenced. By doing this, the careers advisor is able to assess a number of things. So they're able to assess what you understand, they're able to check for gaps in understanding, and depending on your answer, they'll be able to fill those gaps. And finally, they're able to assess how much responsibility you are taking in your own career. After all, it is your career. So if you come to a careers appointment with, I want to be a doctor, but you don't understand what a doctor does, then the onus is on you. We can point you to resources, but you've got to do the research. If you've said, I want to become a civil engineer, this is what I understand about the role, this is the pathway I want to take because of X, Y, and Z, and you've checked the reality of your idea against your predicted grades or even your target grades, then the careers advisor will know where to spend the remaining amount of time. So when they come to write up your action plan, they'll detail resources for you to go away and look at, and they'll reference places that you might explore for further higher education or even training opportunities. So let's say they point you towards a local college website, UCAS, or even an apprenticeship training provider. It is your responsibility to follow up on those actions. I'd recommend that you set some time aside to do this within a week of your careers appointment. The sooner the better. Before you follow up on the action plan, talk through your experience and your action plan with somebody or members of your immediate sphere of influence. So your parents or carers, family, friends, and your teachers or even your tutor. Now, here's a really interesting tip. If you feel nervous in doing this, you could always say, hey, I had my meeting with my careers advisor this week and I've got an action plan. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you have a spare 5 minutes? Just as a top tip, if you ever want to get something out of somebody, always ask them for their opinion. People love to give their opinion. And this works almost all of the time. So give it a go. If you're feeling nervous, just reframe the conversation. But remember, it is only an opinion. So take it on board, but also be critical of it too. Sometimes people can carry outdated views of the world that sometimes need updating. A classic one that I have personal experience of is a family member who didn't believe in higher education and challenged my decision making. It made them feel very uncomfortable, and it also made me. So I went off to uni and got a degree as well as my postgraduate degree, knowing that this was my choice and I was willing to hedge my bets because of the careful research I carried out before I embarked on the journey. Had I listened to my family member, my career story would have turned out very differently. I might not even be here talking to you now as a careers practitioner. As career practitioners, we actually see this all of the time, whereby somebody comes into a careers appointment and somebody within their immediate sphere of influence doesn't have an updated view of the world. That could be an opinion around getting an apprenticeship over a degree. And sometimes it's really important to look at the facts. Now back to the action plan. Follow the steps in the action plan, and if you need additional support or you have more questions, then ask for help. Go to your tutor and ask. This is a really important time, and it's important to get things right. And if you need to revisit your careers advisor, then ask. Not everybody goes to the careers advisor with a clear idea of what they want to do. In fact, the majority go with "I'm not sure yet." This is perfectly normal. And you aren't alone in this. There is absolutely no pressure to make a decision with the careers advisor during this meeting. But the careers advisor is there to support you towards making a decision. So let's say the conversation was a little bit more open-ended. So you haven't gone with a clear, I want to become a civil engineer. And let's say you're still yet to decide, or you're choosing between two different options. Then you still have a little bit more work to do. Let's say you were choosing between your options. Your careers advisor might have pointed you towards resources to go and research. Visit and engage with these resources because they will help you to move towards making a decision. Again, if you need help, then ask for it. A great way to move closer to that decision is to perhaps ask somebody from within the industry. You might have done your work experience already, which means you can reflect back on that, or you might be able to leverage your network here. Now, this approach might be considered a little unorthodox, but bear with me, it will work. If you have the contact details of your point of contact from your work experience, you could generate some questions and get their opinion on matters. Now, you won't go and ask them, I'm interested in becoming, let's say, a civil engineer, and I was wondering what you think. But you would carefully word your email to elicit a response that was based more on industry insights and facts. So you might say something like this. Hi, whatever the name is, I hope you're well. I really enjoyed working with you during my work experience at wherever it is that you were. That's your opening paragraph. You've acknowledged that you hope they're well and you've acknowledged that you've had a good time working with them. Tell them what you want. So you are reaching out to ask your opinion as you are considering engineering as your career. I'm unsure about whether to do an apprenticeship or go down the academic route. I wondered whether you could offer an opinion as somebody from within the industry. Now you can close off the email with, I'd really like your opinion, or it'd be great to chat further, and a kind regards and your name. But by doing this, you are taking the initiative, getting valuable insight from a person from within industry, and establishing or even maintaining a point of contact. Now, this is an essential part of networking. When you keep in contact with your contacts, they remember you. And if an opportunity pops up, they might even reach out to you. So who knows? They might even have an opportunity like an apprenticeship or even more work experience. By doing this, you're building your network and you'll jump that first hurdle in developing your networking skills. Now, we've just discussed two possible scenarios. One where you have a specific and clear idea of what you want to do, and the other where your plan is more open-ended. Whether you know what you want to do or not, follow the actions on your action plan. Seek support if you need it, and ask to see your careers advisor for a follow-up if necessary. The key thing here is to take action. Don't sit on things and leave it to the last minute, because you might miss out on opportunities and other distractions pop up in your life, and that takes your focus away from what's really important. It's always better to be prepared than not. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, then drop us a message on our socials and we'll see you next time.